Coming to you live from Nairobi, Kenya, this is TV 47 Weekend. It is the third day of December 2022. Happy New Month, by the way, to our topics this evening. Tonight, Azimio leaders insist protests against the government is the only way to go.
Tutakwenda kule uwanja ya Kamkunji. Natumalika Wakenya wote wafike pale. Tushauriane. Tulize Kenya naelekea wapi?
As a section of leaders call him out, saying they will ask their followers not to follow his call.
Mimi nataka niseme kwa heshima, nimwambie mzee wetu huyu Raila Odinga, drop that line.
Parents load recommendations to retain junior secondary schools in primary schools.
Within a very short time, they should put up the junior secondary school with a laboratory and classrooms and offices so that in another 1 year, the junior secondary school is functional.
As the government faces a huge infrastructure headache.
Tuoni sasa kama kuna change yote kimasomo specifically ya kuwa what is it going to improve.
Parents fear they might bear the cost of the new classrooms. Mixed reactions as the 13th Parliament takes its first recess.
Your party leader directs you, even as he did in the Jailer Committee, to lead you to walk out of a committee of Parliament. Then you belittle the people who elected you.
Kenyans tonight give their views about how their representatives have performed.
Mambo na CDF wamefanya kazi mzuri, lakini tangu hiyo hadi waende hadi nyingi walikuwa wametuahidi kutufanyia hatushawaona.
Captain Simolo is on the sign language docket, and I'm yours truly, Stanley Iringita. Now to our top story this evening. ODM Chief Raila Odinga insists that there is no turning back in the planned protest set to begin on Wednesday, with fellow Azimio leaders saying the country is going down the dictatorial way. And as Paul Kirobit now tells us, the protest is likely to face protests with a section of the leaders, some from Odinga's perceived strongholds and even his allies in the Jubilee Party, saying they will not back him.
The issue on the removal of the 4 IEBC commissioners, Juliana Cherera and 3 others, has become the latest political dog whistle, with the Azimio faction insisting it will not relent on its move to call for nationwide protest from next Wednesday. This after the president suspended the 4 dissenting commissioners and formed a tribunal to probe their conduct in the run-up to the announcement of the presidential election results.
Kenya mpaka iwe nchi ya kidemokrasia. Ni sababu tumesema tarehe 7 Jumanne Alhamisi ijayo tutakwenda kule uwanja ya Kamkunji. Natumalika Wakenya wote wafike pale.
Odinga, who graced the homecoming ceremony of Kilifi Governor Gideon Mung'aro, insists that he will not sit back and watch as gains made in the 2010 constitution are clawed back.
Baadaye kesho jana Bwana Ruto tayari anaweka tume ya kwenda kutoa Cherera wenzake katika ofisi. Sasa wako kando. Sasa mimi nasema historia inarudia tena.
Odinga is, however, already facing a backlash in the region. He once commanded with a section of leaders asking residents to boycott the planned protest.
Maandamano yataskea investors Kilifi. Yatafukuza investors Kilifi. Hakuna mtu ambaye anaweza kwenda fanya kwanza sisi nataka tujipigie makofi. Tangu maandamano yaanze 2007 sisi Kilifi hatujawahi andamana.
Other leaders on their part say the move is aimed at delaying Ruto's development agenda for the period he's serving as the president.
Lazima tuchague ni nini tunataka hapa Kenya. Kama tunataka tuendeleze na siasa miaka yote twende, lakini kama tunataka watu wa Kenya wapate amani na mafanikio, tuangalie amani ndani ya taifa la Kenya.
But according to Azimio leaders, the president is using unorthodox means to ensure he captures power post 2027 by planning to form a new and friendly IEBC that will oversee the 2027 election.
Sasa mimi nasema historia inarudia tena. Mwaka 60 na kitu walileta sheria kama haya. Moja ya kubadilisha sheria ya kusema kwamba mahakama iko chini ya rais.
His counterpart, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, cautioned President William Ruto not to become a dictator on the running of the affairs of this country. Kalonzo now giving Ruto options to use the IPPG route if at all he will succeed to kick out the IEBC. This as a section of other leaders across the country castigate the ODM chief for calling the protest.
Ambaye amekaa miezi 3 hajamaliza. Juzi tu ndio mapies wameapishwa. Niulize jameni, wakati wa handshake tuliteswa sana. Mimi nilirushwa nje ya Senate miezi 7. Nikakuwa na kesi 7.
Cabinet secretary, tuko na governors wote, tuko na MCAs, tuko na waheshimiwa. Sasa hii mambo hapa ya maandamano.
Paul Kirobi, TV47.
Now to the classrooms, and the recommendation to domicile the junior secondary schools in the existing primary schools has opened a new page of worry by parents who now feel that they will be forced to pay for the infrastructure uplift in the primary schools. Lucky Hereno with more.
The Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms recommended the construction of extra classrooms and laboratories in the primary schools, which will now hold learners for an year extra, an assurance from the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua that the government will facilitate part of the constructions as parents remain great guarantor to the initiative. At the same time, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has challenged the lawmakers to invest a lot in classroom constructions with the CDF funds, which was approved by the Attorney General, expected to be cashed out next week.
Hivyo tunauliza members of parliament wakiongozwa na huyu mjumbe wetu Mere wa Maua, huyu Jane Kihara ako hapa, huyu Njoroge Wainaina na wale wengine wote katika Kenya, haraka iwezekanavyo. Attorney General wetu ametoa opinion ya kwamba ile uamuzi wa koti ilikuwa ni kuhusu ile act ya zamani ya CDF, haikusimamisha ile act iko. Kwa hivyo katika zile pesa ya CDF tunauliza members of the National Assembly from the 290 constituencies, within a very short time they should put up the junior secondary school with a laboratory and classrooms and offices, so that in another 1 year the junior secondary school is functional.
And with just 49 days to the reopening of the schools, the government will have to work overtime to ensure that the first class of junior secondary schools is not disenfranchised.
Naenda grade 7 sasa, ambao watabaki the same school with the different uniforms, but so hiyo mambo inamaanisha ya kwamba hii mzigo itaenda kwa mzazi, kwa sababu mzazi atanunua uniform mpya, but hatuoni sasa kama kuna change yoyote kimasomo specifically ya kuwa what is it going to improve.
Parents with children transiting to grade 6 now fear that they might be forced to pay the price of the recommendations and asked to dig deeper into their pockets to finance the infrastructure expansion in primary schools.
Kama serikali imechanganyikiwa, kama sisi wananchi pia hatuelewi CPC ni nini. Mtu kuingia at grade 7, hakuna laboratory, hakuna madarasa, hakuna walimu hajaenda kufunzwa. So tunaona kama serikali imechanganyika.
Right, down to some county politics, and with just 5 days remaining to the Bungoma Senate by-elections, candidates seeking to clinch the senatorial seat come December 8th are in top gear campaigns in the area. UDA-allied MPs in the region have been campaigning for Mwambu Mabonga, even as Ford Kenya lawmakers now push the tide in favor of Wafula Wakoli. Flora Lemuki reports.
Stiff sibling rivalry in Kenya Kwanza Alliance affiliates United Democratic Alliance UDA and Ford Kenya has taken center stage as campaigns to replace former Bungoma Senator Moses Wetangula enter the home stretch. This even as UDA and Ford Kenya parties flex their muscles to have their preferred candidates win the election. UDA party is fronting former Bumula MP Mwambu Mabonga to replace Wetangula as Ford Kenya rallies behind Wafula Wakoli.
Tulikuwa tunajua kwamba hakuna mtu atapeana candidate kwa sababu Weta kwa niaba yetu alikuwa Ford Kenya, turudishe kwa hiyo nyumba ya Ford Kenya. Sasa kuna wengine ambao walikeuka hayo masikizano.
The Bungoma senatorial seat fell vacant in September 2022 after Wetangula resigned following his election to the National Assembly as Speaker.
Amekomaa, anaweza kazi. Mutampatia kura. Sera, agenda, ruwaza na mipango ya kutetea haki ya mtu wa Bungoma. Na mimi niko tayari kutembea na nyinyi ama namna gani?
This rift of parties now brings hiccups in the President William Ruto-led Kenya Kwanza coalition, which plays host to UDA and Ford Kenya parties. However, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula have ganged up to drum up support for a candidate from Wetangula's Ford Kenya party.
Mimi na Weta, we are one. We shall work together. We shall work together. We shall consult together, and we shall make sure our people benefit together.
In politics, there's no permanent enemy. There's no permanent friendship. There are only sustainable interests.
The leaders have also called on the opposition to move on past the August 9th general election and give the Kenya Kwanza time to deliver.
Kuambia go on leave. Wewe nenda upumuzike, uende kwa leave kwanza, ungoje miaka 5.
Siasa ya mivurutano, siasa ya maandamano, siasa ya matusi na mambo ile ingine itateremusha heshima ya Kenya.
Notable politicians given the nod by IEBC are former Bumula MP Mwambu Mabonga of UDA, Wetangula's aide Wafula Wakoli, who will fly the Ford Kenya ticket, and 3 other independent candidates, Enoch Makoha, Julius Masinde, and Raydon Wekesa Munoko. Flora Limuki, TV 47.
And some rather sad news. 4 people lost their lives while several others were injured after being involved in a road accident in Njuri, Tharaka Nithi County on the Meru-Nairobi highway. The accident involved a school bus which was ferrying 46 members of Thao Methodist Church from Tigania East to a wedding in Karen. Our reporter Nashin Kabale with more.
The members of Thao Methodist Church from Tigania expectations to reach their destination, which was a wedding ceremony in Nairobi County, were abruptly brought to a tragic end after the driver of the bus they were traveling in lost control of the bus when one of its tires busted.
Mimi ndio chairman wa kanisa na steward wa MCK Lao Sacred. Nilikuwa naenda kwa harusi Nairobi Karen. Bahati mbaya kupita shuka kidogo hapo Kigogwe tukapata accident ndio barasha na watu wameumia sana na wamepelekwa hospitali wakiwa wameumia na kuna wale wamebaki jali bandi hatujaweza kuwatoa.
Wenye wameumia wako na majeraha mabaya ni watu 8, watu 28 wako na majeraha kidogo kidogo, na tumepoteza watu 3, wamama 2 na mwanaume 1.
Those who survived say the driver of the bus lost control after a tire burst. According to the police, about 20 people were injured in the 5 a.m. incident, and it took long to remove some of the victims who were trapped in the wreckage.
Penda madereva wote wajiadharishe, especially wakifika hapa, kama vile mnaona hii barabara ya hapa Embu Meru iko na kona mingi sana. Watu wapunguze mwendo, wasiende mwendo wa kasi.
The bodies of those who perished were taken to the nearby mortuaries, while the injured were taken to the nearby local hospitals where they're nursing wounds from the accidents. Nation Kabale, TV 47.
Well, on behalf of TV47, may their souls rest in eternal peace and may their loved ones find solace. Now, meanwhile, President William Ruto is in South Sudan for a visit. The head of state on Saturday arrived in Juba, South Sudan, where he was received by South Sudan President Salva Kiir. Ruto is in South Sudan for bilateral talks with the South Sudan President Salva Kiir. The 2 presidents are expected to discuss the latest issues, among other issues. The latest corridor, the LAPSET corridor program is a regional flagship project intended to provide transport and logistics infrastructure aimed at creating seamless connectivity between the Eastern African countries of Kenya, Ethiopia, and South Sudan.
It is important also that you and me have agreed on the LAPSET corridor. As I informed you, The road from Lamu to Garissa and on to Isiolo is now being worked on and will be complete anytime now, so that we can connect our people for trade, business and investment using the Lapsset corridor. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for agreeing that Kenya and South Sudan will work together to resolve the matter of the road between Nadabal and Nakadok, and that we have jointly instructed our ministers and governors on the ground to have an urgent meeting to resolve the issues so that we can complete the construction of the small section that is remaining of that road.
And from that, Kenyans have expressed mixed reactions over the performance of the 13th Parliament so far. While others have lauded them, some are on the opinion that the lack thereof of the NGCDF fund has hampered their roles. This comes as the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, has lauded the members of Parliament for carrying themselves with the highest levels of decorum, further urging them to familiarize themselves with the challenges affecting their constituents. As the members of the National Assembly and their counterparts in the Senate begin their recess, which will conclude on the 14th of February 2023, the 84 days in office have been characterized by political showdowns in both President William Ruto's Kenya Kwanza and Raila Odinga's Azimio coalitions.
Is set to commence now.
The Kenya Kwanza allied MPs, led by their majority leader Kimani Ichung'wah, have claimed that the opposition has failed, with Azimio allied MPs criticizing the role of the president in the legislation.
Your party leader directs you, even as he did in the Jailer Committee, to lead you to walk out of a committee of parliament. Then you belittle the people who elected you.
In this house, positions have changed. One time you are a majority, another time you are a minority, one time you... What has not changed is the interest of our constituents.
Teua wale ambao watachukua nafasi yao, mlete yale yote mswada katika mbele ya bunge. Iletwe kwa bunge siku moja, inapitishwa siku hiyo.
And as they break for the holidays, they will be going with a smile, having accomplished one of their biggest hurdles, the reintroduction of the NGCDF fund into the constitution. The 84 days in office have also seen the appointment of various National Assembly committees, which was tasked in vetting the cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries, and the Inspector General of Police. Another key highlight in the National Assembly was the ejection of the 4 IEBC dissenting commissioners by the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, which caused uproar among the members. During the hearings, the Azimio allied MPs staged a walkout, claiming that JLAC lacked the jurisdiction to determine the fate of the 4 commissioners. The GMO debate was also rife debate in both houses, with both the National Assembly and the Senate having mixed reactions on the move by the trade CS Moses Kuria to import 10 million bags of GMO duty-free. Some members of the Senate questioning the rush to import the maize, despite a bumper harvest from the farmers. This even as some Kenyans have mixed reactions on how the legislators have performed so far.
Jaona kama wamefanya kazi vilivyo. Juu nikiangalia vizuri wamekuwa katika eka za kupanga parliament, senate, all those positions na kuchagua watu ambao wanatuwakilisha sehemu mbalimbali.
Wamefanya kwa sababu hawajawahi pewa hiyo kit ya CDF, na ndio inasaidia wazazi pia kulipa karo, kulipia watoto fees.
With the legislative being one of the arms of the government tasked to check and balance the executive and judiciary, experts opine that the 13th Parliament should avoid being an appendage of other arms.
We have not seen a very legalized exercise of public participation, and probably that is where they could be doing wrong.
So, except maybe the GMO thing, we would actually say that we would have to give the Parliament and the executive a benefit of doubt in as far as their relations is concerned and making laws to Kenyans is concerned.
Right, listen to this next story. A 50-year-old woman in Nairobi is crying for justice after her alleged scheduled surgical process was abruptly cancelled by Kijabe Hospital despite being injected with anesthetics. And as our health reporter Elizabeth Atieno reports, there appears to be confusion on the matter, with the family claiming that the procedure was cancelled since the facility maliciously inflated the surgical fee by above $500,000 just minutes before the operation. It is also alleged that the facility halted the interview after they realized that they lacked a vital equipment needed for the operation.
In Nairobi's Kasarani area, we meet Mary, not her real name. She struggles to walk through this corridor as she tries to endure the unbearable pain on her right leg. Mary has been suffering from arthritis for over 10 years now. She has since made various visits to different hospitals to get treated. She then landed at Kijabe Hospital, where a golden opportunity presented itself, but things did not end as expected.
Nikaambiwa hii mguu mtaweka shuma, na nikapewa appointment. Nikaambiwa niende home, watanipigia maniambie siku ile nitaenda kufanywa surgery. Kaenda home kwa wiki mbili.
On Monday, the 28th of November this year, Mary was accompanied by her daughter, Jen, not her real name, to the facility for the scheduled surgical procedure. She was then taken to the theatre at exactly 7:15 a.m., where she was laid on the surgical bed and injected with the anesthetics. But the operation did not take place as planned.
Daktari amesema hivi, mamako hatafanywa surgery, wamecancel. Kaniambia kulingana na mguu ya your mom na kulingana na patient mwingine alikuwa amefanywa the same procedure, itatake 850,000. Nikamuuliza 850,000, akaniambia na ile HIF imewalipia ni 300,000. Mimi nikamuuliza sasa nitatoa wapi pesa yote? Akaniuliza kwani unaona mnaweza raise pesa kama ngapi?
And when Jen wanted her mother released since she could not come up with the 550,000 Kenya shillings needed, the hospital declined since she was already injected with the anesthesia.
Mimi nikamwambia kulingana, nikamuuliza hiyo dawa amedungwa atatake how long ndio aweze kumove, ndio miguu zake ziweze kutembea. Akaniambia itatake 6 hours. Kwa hivyo by saa 11 6 unaweza rudi ufanya nini, uchukue your mom muende nyumbani.
The doctors later allegedly revealed that money was not the only reason for the cancellation, but that they later realized that they did not have one of the vital equipments needed for the procedure.
Walisema hivi, tumedunga your mom shindano ya theater, ndio tumerealize kuna chuma moja hatuna yenye inatumika kwa mguu yake, yenye inafaa kutumika kwa mguu yake, na inatoka Nairobi. Na kutoka Nairobi it will take time kwa sababu inatumika kwa mgonjwa mwingine. Kwa hivyo ile chuma itaoshwa na inafaa ioshwe, iwekwe kwa sterilizer, ndio sasa ifike na plus transport ya kuileta Kijabe. So ita take long, inaweza fika hapa hata saa 8 ama saa 10. Kwa hivyo hiyo surgery hatuwezi ifanya.
According to Jane, the hospital management and the doctors in charge of the operation were reading from different scripts. As she sought answers from the hospital management, she was informed that the total amount was not 850,000 Kenya shillings as pronounced by the doctor, but 600,000 Kenya shillings.
Tena ikapungua na 200,000. Sasa nikamwambia mimi sijui niseme nini, lakini hii pesa hatuwezi pata for now. Juu hatuja prepare, hakuna mtu mwenye yako na hii pesa. Akaniambia sasa wewe utatuambia, wewe ukienda home, ukienda nyumbani, kesho ukikuja, wewe utatupea feedback ama tuendelee na procedure ama mtaenda nyumbani.
Mary has been battling high blood pressure since that fateful day, with her daughter saying the turn of events have had a terrible impact on her mental health.
Sasa nimepelekwa wodi, sijafanywa surgery. Na wale wengine wanakuja wamefanywa. Sasa nimesakasirika sana. Sukari ikaenda juu, pressure ikaenda juu. Nimekasirika sana.
Jane and her mother, Mary, are now calling for justice, further accusing the hospital of impunity and negligence.
Kwa nini wampeleke dieta, wamdunge shindano, baadaye wamtoe bila kumfanyia surgery? Haijakuwa rahisi, haijakuwa easy hata kidogo.
Mageambia serikali kwa nini malifanya hivyo, maliduga hiyo shindano na huku nifanya surgery.
Our efforts to seek clarification from the hospital were futile despite numerous efforts over the last few days.
Okay. I'll take your number.
Yes.
And then someone will get back to you shortly.
Okay.
Yes. Can I please give me your number?
Okay, 07.
Elizabeth Atieno, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Elizabeth Atieno, for sharing that. And hopefully justice will be served and Kijabe Hospital will respond on the matter. Away from that, Kenya joined the world in marking the International Day of Persons with Disability. This year's theme being shedding the light on the invisible forms of disability. Beatrice Watare interacted with a center that specializes with just that. Here is her report.
This year's theme for the International Day of Persons with Disabilities states that not all disabilities are visible, an aspect that this center in Kibera has highlighted on this special day. And as George Otieno, a staff at the institution, indicated, the day was meant to create awareness about conditions that may not be visible but are equally important and require attention.
So reflecting on this year's theme, that is, not all types of disability are visible. It is high time that we have to empower other types of disability that we are not able to see. But we forget that there are others that are not known and are not visible, not unless we interact with them, like the Down syndrome. We have autism spectrum disorder.
George further attributed the day to one that reminded them of just how much Kenya and the world in general has worked towards ensuring that people with disabilities gain inclusivity in the society.
Actually, it's not a matter of celebrating the day. It is a matter of having a pause and asking ourselves and reflecting on the achievement that we have made as a country towards integrating persons with disability into the community, in as far as individual abilities are concerned.
Further appreciating the efforts made by parents, students and other stakeholders who graced the event.
So the presence of people coming only, even though today is on a Saturday, but they have decided to come and present themselves here and celebrate this day with us. That means that they really appreciate the day and they also appreciate the work that the center is doing.
Parents at the event were elated that their children had gotten another chance at life and have now begun the journey of living a normal life.
Kwa sababu Pius hakukuwa anaweza hata kujivalisha nguo, hakukuwa anaweza vaa, hakukuwa anaweza kula peke yake. Na kwa watoto wangu wote, niko na watoto 3, yeye ndio msafi kabisa. Na ninaweza sema na ninaweza kurudishia Mungu shukrani nikisema hapa ndio nimeona mwangaza wa Pius.
World Disability Day had its official celebrations at William Olentimama Stadium, formerly Narok Stadium in Narok, with the event being graced by CS Labour Florence Bore, who urged for removal of barriers for persons with disabilities to participate in all sectors of development.
To remove the barriers that hinder persons with disabilities to participate in all sectors of development. It also provides an opportunity for persons with disabilities to celebrate their achievements, capabilities, and families while focusing on areas of collaboration with the government and partners in the disability sector.
Right, on that note, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back with more.
Discover a world full of opportunities, a place to build your skill and see the world in a different perspective. Sensei Institute of Technology is the home to the best practical courses, giving you hands-on experience to handle the world. We offer courses such as plant operator, plant mechanics, driving and trailer driving, CCTV and alarm installation, solar installation, electrical installation, motor vehicle mechanics and electronics, building construction technology, welding fabrication, roads and dam construction, hospitality courses, and many more. For you to join us, ensure you have your national ID card and be ready to enjoy the ride.
Remember, my skills, my future at Sensei.
Sensei College, my skills, my future.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
It has over 80,000 members, with its presence felt through 10 branches in Kiambu and Nairobi, with an asset base of 4 billion Kenya shillings.
TAI Sacco was founded way back in 1992 by tea farmers.
We decided to change the name from Kiambu Tea Sacco now to TAI Sacco, so that we can be able to bring on board other sectors, the civil servants, teachers.
We have the M-banking service. Our members can be able to transact at the comfort of their homes.
We have some in the US, Dubai, in the UK as well.
TAI is the Kiswahili name for eagle. It has focus.
Sikuwa na mashini hata moja, tulikuwa tunaosha na mikono. I was able kupata loan ya kwanza 80,000, nikanunua mashini ya kwanza.
Nilienda nikapewa pesa ya loan, nikanunua ng'ombe, nikaongeza sababu nilikuwa na moja.
TAI Sacco was that year's journey has been a game changer to all our members.
We got 40 million from TAI with easy payment terms. I will not hesitate to recommend TAI to any business person.
The secret to an instant glow and spotless skin. Acne C10 is a 10% pure vitamin C serum that effectively fades dark spots and clears dark patches. With a unique formulation, it is quickly absorbed deep into the skin to give optimal results. Acne C10, 10% pure vitamin C serum, safe on all skin types.
Sisi ndio tunabeba swag hadi ndani ya pitch. Si ndio the fastest, the biggest, the strongest. They wonder why. Time waliland kucheza ball na nati, sisi tulikuwa mguu chuma. Ball ni sisi na sisi ni ball. It has always been a part of us. We are passionate, so loud, they had to tell us to keep it down. Na sasa, it's that time again. The time for us to step up. Tuwakumbushe why Waafrika wanashine kwa ligi za majuu. So if you love football, love Africa. Cheer Africa. Africa ni sisi.
Big with TV47 and win Lotto. All you need to do is watch TV47 and send 50 shillings to the payable number 328328. Account name TV47 to enter the draw. The more you play, the higher your chances of winning if you send 50 shillings to the payable number 328328. Account name TV47. Win Lotto. Everyone's a winner. Remember, send 50 shillings to the payable number 328328. Account name TV47 and win with TV47 and win Lotto. This has been authorized by the Betting Control and Licensing Board of Kenya. BCLB number *00885. Play responsibly, not for people under the age of 18.
32 minutes past the top of the hour. Thank you for your patronage so far. Now, a section of leaders drawn from the ASAL community areas of Isiolo and Garissa counties have implored on the government to give them the first priority when they begin distributing relief foods across the country. The leaders say that they are most vulnerable as the drought situation continues to ravage many parts of the region, which has affected, among other candidates, sitting the national examinations.
Lands that are marginal, that in terms of development have been lagging behind for very many years. We want to call on the leadership of Kenya this time round that we want to be part and parcel of the development agenda of Kenya.
Special attention, and it is my prayer that come 2027, we will all be united and rally behind this government that has shown us a lot of love and care, that is protecting us in terms of insecurity that we have faced for many years, that is providing food to our needy people, and that is ready to educate our children, and the government that is ready to employ many of our people who are not employed.
Remembered us in other position. My sister here, Mheshimiwa Naomi, I think is the most